Remember that highly controversial White House Commission on Voter Fraud? Well, it meets tomorrow for its very first meeting, and the vice chair of the commission, Kansas Secretary of State Chris Kobach, a man who's billed himself, this isn't him, as the ACLU's worst nightmare, continues to make headlines. A disciplinary office for Kansas's Supreme Court is now investigating Kobach after receiving a complaint that he's shown a lack of respect for the courts, even citing a fine that he's received for misleading the court. He also faces a complaint that he violated federal law by using his position as vice chair to further his campaign for Kansas governor. Then there was the headline from just a few days ago, thanks to emails released as part of his lawsuit against the ACLU, that Kobach wanted to amend the National Voter Registration Act from 1993 and require that people show proof of citizenship in order to register to vote. And we can't forget about all the states rejecting the commission's request for voter roll data, including his own state of Kansas, which is rejecting a part of the request. Joining me now to talk more about this, a man who's very passionate about voting rights, Roland Martin, host and managing editor of NewsOne Now. Roland, this thing is turning around on Chris Kobach and on Donald Trump, because what started as an effort to prove Donald Trump's unsubstantiated claim that millions of people voted illegally is now shining a light on the fact that we do have voting problems in this country, and it's largely because of restrictive voting things that guys like Chris Kobach are trying to put into place.
This commission on voter fraud is a fraudulent commission. It has been from day one. Donald Trump has made fraudulent arguments. He lied about 3 to 5 million people voting illegally. He lied about people crossing the borders into New Hampshire. Even Republicans in New Hampshire, even Corey Lewandowski said there was no truth to that. But not only that, they're also facing significant lawsuits. Just an hour ago, there are 7 lawsuits now facing this so-called Voter Integrity Commission. The NAACP, Legal Defense and Education Fund, led by Sherlyn Ifill, they filed their lawsuit. They dropped it about an hour ago, and they allege this commission specifically discriminates against people of color. That is a significant point there, because remember, we saw this in Bush v. Gore, Ali. The Constitution does not guarantee a right to vote. That was an opinion by Scalia in that particular ruling. It's a state issue, and that's part of the problem here.
All right, so one of the things that's going on is that Republicans want to end the U.S. Election Assistance Commission. Why do you think that is? Tell me why that's significant. Why do you think that is?
Because they have been angry since that 2000 ruling. This commission was set in place to protect the right to vote, the ballot box. We just saw all of these hacking attempts, 100,000 attempts alone in South Carolina. We saw the Russians trying to get into a number of other states. This commission is to protect the sanctity of the ballot box. And for some reason, Republicans want to do this, and I have been saying this. The Republican Party is the greatest threat to democracy when it comes to voting, because they want to shave the rolls. They don't want to compete, and they want to limit people of color from voting, young people from voting, and others. And I would hope, and this is not just a people of color thing, blacks and Hispanics and Asians. Many whites in this country have also impacted when you're cutting off access to the ballot for the elderly, many of them who don't have driver's licenses, as well as for young voters, moving polling places off of college campuses. That's what you see here, and it's shameful, and they keep doing it, and I would hope some folks would stand up.
The U.S. Elections Assistance Commission, the commissioners are appointed by the president, they're confirmed by the Senate, they help with voting system guidelines, they accredit testing laboratories for voting systems, they certify voting systems, they audit the use of funds to maintain national voter registration forms, all sorts of things. These are things that are designed to make it better, safer, and easier for people to vote, not the opposite.
And you would think Donald Trump, who keeps running his mouth about voter fraud, you would think that he would come out and endorse this commission. No, they want to fold it under the Federal Election Commission, which we know has always been a joke, because they play games with appointing folks there. So pretty much, if you don't have a full operating committee, you have no power. This commission is critically important for every voter in America, regardless of a party.
Roland, I always love having you on. Maybe next time I'll get you on a topic that you're passionate about. Roland Martin is the host and managing editor. Roland Martin, host and managing editor of NewsOne Now and the TV1 cable network. Thanks, buddy. Good to see you.
Thanks, Ali.